Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. So let's get into it. It was one of those days where everything hit you at once. The thoughts in your head, the past, and this letter that you got from your mother. The mother that you've cut off, just because of how horrible she was. She was an unbearable person in your life. Someone who made it her personal duty to make your life as miserable as possible. But it would no longer allow her that. And so you left. And now, as you lived with Arlecchino, you knew it was all in the past. And yet, the memories still haunted you. Like all your struggles were for naught. All of what you did could be gone in the blink of an eye. And right now, as you held this letter in your hand, you were entirely unaware of Arlecchino walking into the room, and of just how long she'd been staring at you, watching your somber expression, and the way you stared in a detached manner, like you had floated into another dimension. And yet, all of that, and she was silent, until you finally saw her, and tilted your head. How long have you been here? Long enough. What are you doing? And what's that letter about? She asked curiously, sitting down beside you. And you huffed, looking away. Don't concern yourself. It's nothing you have to worry about. It doesn't matter whether I have to worry about it or not. I simply want to. And truly, it's the least I could do for you. You are deserving of my worry. You know that. And you truly couldn't help it. Despite how upset you were, Arlecchino just knew what to say and when to say it. And that was something that you were very grateful for. And perhaps it was the perfect thing to do, given how now you felt like you wanted to talk, unlike how you felt at first. And so you did. You told her who the sender was, what the letter entailed, and the memories, how they replayed continuously in your mind, how you never felt quite free from the past, and how, even with everything right now, you still feel like that child years ago, confronted by this letter. And for some reason, she listened. And there was not judgment on her face, which was certainly not what you expected, especially not for someone who never tolerated weakness. But by the time that you were done, she had a strange expression on her face, perhaps one of sympathy, but that was quite unfamiliar, especially on her. I haven't told you about the previous knave, have I? Not really. You haven't talked about her. Well, I suppose it's time I do. She was the mother of the house. And yet, she was everything but the word mother. It was an unfitting title, one she did not deserve. The house was much different then. It was akin to a battleground. We'd be raised like cattle, and then we would fight to the death. From then on, she would select a successor. And in the end, I prevailed. She had a daughter of her own that she had abandoned. She treated her like the rest. In fact, even worse. Her name was Clervy. and she was my only friend. That day I lost her, and I won, but I had already lost too much. So then I took things into my own hands, and I avenged the children. Those before me, and after, and most of all, Clairvy. And that's when this new name you've seen now was born. Although she was not my mother by blood, she was all I've known. And she tarnished that word in my mind. And so, I didn't want to associate with her, or with that word at all. So that's why you became a father. She nodded, and you smiled softly, kissing her cheek. I suppose the two of us come from troubled backgrounds. But you know what? You're a good parent, Arlie. A good father to those children. They love you. They fear you, yes. And they may have their own opinions about some things that you do. But you've never done anything bad to harm them. In the end, even though you're harsh, you're raising them to be ready for the world. You care for them. And you will defend them. And that's more than you've ever received. So I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of you as well. You're incredibly strong, Bayan. Just as you believe I am. I believe the same of you as well. She said, kissing your cheek softly and causing you to well up. Because in the end, you could ignore that letter from your mother. You could choose not to contact her again, no matter how much she talked to you and threatened you. Because in the end, you had someone who was there for you. And you knew that no matter what happened in the world, Arlecchino would be by your side. And no force in Tevat would ever be able to change that.